I asked the elders this morning if I could speak on discernment. I'm going to be brief. I know we don't have Bible hour, and I don't want to go over, but I think it's important that we really take a look at the lyrics of these songs that we sing, the scriptures that we read, and especially the things that we study in Bible class or get preached from right up here in this pulpit. And what I mean is we need to make sure that what we hear is what is being said and that it aligns with the truth. I've got a friend who's recently gone through some family therapy, and one of the exercises the therapist used was that after someone said something in the therapy session, they would ask the other members of the family there to repeat back what they heard. For example, person A says blah, 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 and that would probably be part of the problem. But somebody says, something, and then the other person would say, well, what I heard you say is you're hurting my feelings when you say what you just said. But what I'm suggesting is we can do the same thing with songs. We can do the same thing with Bible studies. We can do the same thing with sermons. If Dan or Glenn or Vic say something in Bible class, should see how much it matches up with your understanding in your personal study that week. If Cole gets up here and preaches about something that doesn't quite sound right to you, study about it and then ask him about it or ask one of the elders. If we sing a song that the lyrics don't make sense, we sing some songs that are old and use some old language. So ask somebody. I suggest Sarah Zoy, because she's a great linguist and she teaches me and us all the time on Sunday morning what some words mean that we don't use every day. If you don't like the way I sang something, ask Nancy Schumann, because she will correct me all the time. And it's really good, actually. No, I'm just kidding. She's helped me immensely because I did not grow up singing a whole bunch of the melodies. And so it's a little difficult for me. But sometimes we've been singing things wrong for a long, long, long time, and it's easier just to keep singing it wrong, which is perfectly fine. I think God hears it just right. Okay, so we just sang a song called There Is a Sea. That song was first published 100 years ago in a book called The Great Songs of the Church, which was published during the Restoration movement of the Churches of Christ. A guy named Elmer Leon Jorgensen was a gospel preacher. He was also a music teacher. He was also a songwriter. He was also an editor of a magazine called Word and Work magazine, based out of Louisville, Kentucky. Wow, that's annoying. So Elmer Jorgensen wrote the first two verses of that song that we just sang, and a lady named Lula Zahn wrote the third verse, and she wrote the music. Lula Zahn was actually Lula Klingman Zahn, daughter of a preacher named Robert Klingman, and she attended Abilene Christian College. Now, we're going to get back to you. When compiling this hymnal, Great Songs of the Church, Mr. Jorgensen had 7 standards he used to pick the hymns. Okay? Number 1 was literary excellence. Number 2 was lyrical quality. Number 3 was liturgical appropriateness. And I had to look that one up because I don't use liturgical, but it basically means worship. So if it was appropriate for worship, not all songs are. Number 4 was reverence. Number 5 was spiritual reality. Number 6 was scripturalness. And number 7 was unity. And I submit to you that this is an excellent example of discernment. Just like Keith read in Ephesians 5, it is our personal responsibility to apply standards to songs, to Bible classes, to sermons, and in our personal study to make sure we're seeking the truth and that we understand the truth. And it's okay to cheat. And by that, I mean ask others for help. You don't have to do it all on your own. In 1956, churches had already started photocopying other congregations' hymnals. ACU, that beloved institution that some of you attended and graduated from, they borrowed 25, 40, even 50% of their published hymnals from Great Songs of the Church. Elmer Jorgensen died in 1968, but he was asked in the early 60s what he thought about ACU using his copyrighted songs without permission or without payment. And he replied, and I love this quote, "I would gladly have allowed you to use any song in my hymnal. I just wish you had asked." So bottom line, I encourage us to all pay attention to the words of the songs we sing. Pay attention to what our Bible class teachers say and what you hear from the pulpit. Study them, just like it says in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Study to show thyself approved. Okay, I mean, it's basically telling you in that verse, some versions say to divide the truth, but I would submit that it really means to discern the truth, figure out what's going on there. And again, this is not for division. This is not to try to prove your teachers wrong. It's to discern the truth. Remember that seventh standard that Mr. Jorgensen had when he was picking out the songs for his hymnal: unity. So this morning we're going to sing a couple songs to end our worship. But I'd be remiss if I didn't extend the invitation to follow Jesus to everybody here. I believe that Jesus is God, that he was born as a man, that he lived on his earth, that he died, was buried, and was resurrected before ascending to be again with the Father and the Spirit to prepare us a place with him. If you believe too, we encourage you to come confess it. Be baptized for the remission of sins. Or if you need prayers, our elders will be standing in the back. Cole will be over here in the prayer room. If you have any need this morning, we invite you to come as we stand and as